Well, hello everybody. Welcome to my Sunday stock watch for November 2nd. Now, first things first, the government is still shut down, so we are not going to receive most of the economic data that we were supposed to, but I will still go over the calendar just in case. But let's start off with earnings because this week is pretty exciting for earnings. So tomorrow, Monday, after close, we have Palantir earnings. We have Hims earnings. Those are a couple names I will be watching for. On Tuesday after close, we have AMD and SMCI and Beyond Meat, which that'll be interesting. But AMD and SMCI are two names I will definitely be watching. Then Wednesday after market, we have Robinhood, we have QCOM, we have ARM, we have Snap. All those are names that I will be watching for. And then on Thursday, before earning, we have QBTS, which is something I will be watching for, a quantum stock. And then after close, we do have Open Door, which will be interesting. Maybe I'll watch that. We'll see. But yeah, so nice, strong week of earnings. And then for the economic calendar, so we have a quite a bit of stuff going on. So tomorrow we are supposed to get ISM manufacturing. I'm not super clear if this is actually going to come out. And then I guess a little bit later we do have a Fed speaker at 10 a.m., which is about 3 hours after market open. Tuesday, not a whole lot. That day we do have a Fed speaker early pre-market, but again, not so much. This is all supposed to come out Tuesday, job openings, all that we will not be seeing since government has been shut down. Now, Wednesday, again, we're supposed to be getting all this news. We are probably not going to be getting it. And then Thursday, we have initial jobless claims that we are not going to be getting either. And then for Friday, we have non-farm payrolls, which is the second month in a row that we are not getting non-farm payrolls, which is scary. But whatever, I guess we will continue on. So overnight market has now just opened. So let's take a quick look at what couple names are doing. So we already see Tesla's fighting for its life a little bit. Looks like the market is quite unchanged from Friday close at least. We did get quite a bit of a bounce back on Qs and SPY. So that's good to see. But let's take a look at the charts, see what will be holding up tomorrow. I'm going to turn off my volume indicator real quick. So obviously we've still not filled this gap from 2 weeks ago. So that's something I will definitely be watching for to see if we get some weakening or if we hear some bad news and we end up filling this gap back to around 617 on QQQ. That'll be interesting. But for right now, we're trading about at 632. So we are pretty range bound though. I would say our range is from 625 to that 637. So you can expect to see this range this next week. If we do end up making another all-time high, I guess we end up making another all-time high and we got new charting territories. But yeah, so above that 637, 38 area, can't tell you. That's all-time high. But if we do end up for some reason breaking below this low that we put in at 625, I would expect to see this gap get filled shortly after that if we break this little range, this trend here. But yeah, I would expect to see this range this next week. If we continue higher, all-time highs. If we continue lower, expect to see down to that 617 to fill that gap on Qs. Same sort of idea with SPY. We got a bit closer to filling that gap than Qs, but we still got $1 to go to fill that gap there. But on SPY, we're same sort of range bound from 679 up to this 689 area. SPY has created a little bit of a bigger range, probably due to all the earnings we had last week that had to do with the S&P. But expect to see this range if we break above this 689 all-time highs. If we do break below this 679 area, expect to fill this gap down to 678, which isn't much ways to go. But on Qs, we got a little bit more of a ride down. But other names that I'm watching going into this next week, of course, I will be watching the crypto names. But first, let's go over Tesla. So Tesla just opened up and we're trading at 458. So we're still holding on to this very strong trend, obviously. And this is the chart in Robinhood itself. So we could actually see overnight market moving. But one thing I'm going to be watching for is a break above 460, because we've gotten some breaks above 460, but we have not been able to close and hold super strong above 460. So if we can move above there and break it, I would expect to see up into 465 and then get a potential reject at 465. But Tesla, I would watch for any sense of weakening in the coming weeks if the rest of the market does start to weaken for some reason, although November is a pretty green month, so we may see continuation, more new all-time highs. Hard to tell. But yeah, big watch for me is going to be Tesla over 460. If we end up rejecting 460, we could easily see back into, 450 to 445 range. That's what I would watch for indefinitely. So 460 is going to be a really key level, key area. Now for the crypto names, so Bitcoin right now has been stuck trading between like 108 to 110, basically over the weekend. So that being said, let's take a quick look at coin. Coin's not doing a whole lot. We're up slightly. Probably same with MSTR. Yup, MSTR as well. Not doing a whole lot there. We're just trading around 271 for right now. Trend really depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can get a bounce, I would hope to see a retracement into 108. And then if we can get a bounce from there, I really do want to see MSTR start to take a nice run. Potentially we dip back into this 265 and then we continue higher into 280 is what I really want to see MSTR do. But again, Bitcoin just has been looking kind of weak, especially this entire last week. All of last week, Bitcoin was looking weak. So if we continue to see Bitcoin weakening, my guess is that we can go and take out some lows that we haven't seen in a bit, closer to 100, even lower. Probably not this next week, but if we do not make a nice move to the upside, we could definitely expect to see Bitcoin a lot weaker. Now, same sort of idea for a coin. So with MSTR, I do want to see it dip back into that 265, even 260, and then get a nice bounce all the way to 280, depending on how Bitcoin moves. Now, Coinbase is a little closer to, I guess, a little bit higher in valuation than MSTR as of right now. Hasn't gone as much downside as MSTR has. So ideally, what I would want to see Coinbase do, and if we're currently trading at 345, I mean, I would love to see it dip back into this 340 and then get a nice bounce back to 350, 355 on coin. Again, and then we could possibly play any rejects as well. So vice versa, if we do get a nice bounce and we trade up into those areas, like on Coinbase up into 355 to even 360, we could see a nice reject and play that reject, depending on how Bitcoin is moving as well. Because if Bitcoin does trade upwards, even into 112, 113, we see a reject. These names can get a nice reject as well. So you could really play both sides with it. Just depending on what Bitcoin does going into this next week. Now, a couple other names I guess I'll be watching, Nvidia being one of them. So Nvidia is currently overnight trading. Where's Nvidia at? Oh, there it is. 205. So we could potentially see another reject of 211 this week. I would say 207 is probably more likely of a reject area. I think 211 is ways to go, almost 212. So I do want to see Nvidia trade up into 207, 208 range and get a reject from there. Or if we could trade lower into 200, we could see a nice bounce. So again, you could play both sides of this, but a lot of names are pretty range bound. this last week we made a pretty nice range in these higher areas. So we'll go from there. We'll see if they continue to respect that range, and where they're going to be trading. Meta could be a really good name to trade this next week after its volatile earnings. So it's currently sitting at 655. I would love to see more of a bounce at this lower area. Ooh, we're going to have to go into the daily. So if we do head a little bit lower on Meta, we could potentially see a nice bounce from 635 area. But from here, if we can continue higher and break 660, I want to see back into 670 easily. Easily, that's what I want to see on Meta. Pretty nice move from there. So it really just depends where it goes from here. We're kind of stuck in an odd area right now that we haven't seen in quite a bit. So really just depends. Other than that, I mean, those are the names I'm mainly watching going into this next week. We also have HIMS, which earnings on it tomorrow. Depends on where we're currently trading right now. Where the heck is HIMS? Did I take it off my watch list? Nope, it's right there. So we're trading at $47 with earnings tomorrow after market close. So this could either make a really nice move up if we can find support here. Yeah, it really just depends on earnings. So after earnings, if we do make a nice move up, we could trade any rejects at these upper 65 areas because we've gotten so many rejects near 65.70. So it really just depends. Or we could see a nice bounce if we do head a lot lower, like at $40, even into, unfortunately, hopefully not, but even into maybe like the 38 range. We could see a nice bounce from there. So I think HIMS could give some nice moves after earnings, but do not trade into earnings. So, anyways, that is it for our Sunday stock watch. Thank you guys so much for watching. But the Discord is reopened, so if you want to join it, the link is in the bio. But anyways, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.